I was born in Des Moines, Iowa in 1925. And I was born into a family with an older half-brother and an older brother 2 years older. The half-brother was about 7 years older. My parents were born in 1890, and they were both 35 when I was born. My mother had been a school teacher, and then she was an executive type. She started a cafe at Drake University with a friend. She was a marvelous cook, and they were a big success. And my father had become a butcher because his father was a ship's engineer, and they got paid nothing. And then his father ran a pub with his mother, and then his mother died, and they moved to Glasgow and so forth. But his father said, look, every butcher I know who has his own business owns his own home. So as a young man, boy really, he apprenticed himself to become a butcher. And in Des Moines, he was actually had the best, that was before the supermarkets, the best grocery store in Des Moines. Did the most business, and the biggest and the most beautiful, and it was actually a great hit because he charmed everybody who came in there. You know, it was one of his stories. And he took the meat to her. He heard about her, and so he delivers her meat for the cafe himself. My mother was, he was her gift as well as my gift, because she had had such a tragic childhood, and then disaster struck again when I was about 7. She was walking down the street and had these big light blue eyes and looked down, and I could tell she was going to be helpful. And she said, Phyllis Ann, you will never be pretty, so you'd better develop your personality. And I thought inside, oh God, what's the personality? And I was, 13 or 14, I went to an older friend in the neighborhood and said, I hear you're in the play in high school. How can you do that? I would never do that. I would never do that. I was so scared at the idea. But within 2 years, when I was 15, Cloris Leachman, who was my friend in high school, and I were both cast in the little theater. She played the dwarf, and I played the princess. And then we alternated ingenue leads in the Kendall Community Theater. That's where I first started acting. I had 2 great parts. One was Claudia, which was kind of a charming child bride play, and one was kind of a psychopath. And I really, well, then I decided I was going to be an actress. And then I went to Carnegie Tech, which was a great drama school. Now it's Carnegie Mellon. And we did plays all the time. I met my present husband, who was my second husband, Alan Gooding, in the 3rd year of Carnegie Tech when I came home in the summer. And we fell in love, and thought we were going to get married when I got out of school, but instead he was a year behind me because he'd been in the Army. So instead I went to summer stock instead of going home to resume my romance. That was in 48, and then I met my first husband. First thing he ever said to me, hooked me, the girl who thought she was ugly for so long. He said, you don't know it, but you're beautiful. I'd hardly dated in high school. I soon wrote Alan a Dear John letter. And he said, this is the classiest kiss-off he could have ever wished for. I quoted T.S. Eliot. About time is always, I still love you, Alan, I said. But to quote T.S. Eliot, time is always time, and place is always and only place. And what is actual only for one time in one place. So he never forgot me with that horrible kiss, not horrible, articulate kiss off, I would say. It's exactly how I felt. When I got to New York, which I went to after summer stock, I very quickly, I think I did a scene of my first husband, whose name was James McGee, from one of his plays, and I auditioned for the Actors Studio. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it was the most incredible place in the 40s and 50s. I mean, Marlon Brando, Kim Stanley, Maureen Stapleton, everybody. Chaplin came to cast his lead for Limelight up there, and he was seeing different of us ingenues, and Cloris had an interview with him, and she came out, and then she saw me coming in, and she turned around and said, "Well, Mr. Chaplin, if I'm not right for the part, my friend Phyllis Love would be wonderful." Which was a big lie. I couldn't toe dance at all. I never had anything but ballet, and I wasn't particularly good at that. But it got me into the most marvelous memory that I have of theater. That man, because she interested him in me, sat there and he acted out the whole movie for me, every part. I couldn't believe it. Of course, I didn't get a call back, and neither did Cloris, but neither one of us were right for it. But it was a magic place, that Actors Studio.